Previously on X-Men.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Mighty Mornings. This, as you've seen from our intro, is our X-Men review, talk, laugh, whatever you want to call it. Our going back to our nostalgia lane. This is one of my favorite shows of all time, and I'm really excited to get this show off the road. I got to bring in one of my favorite X-Men. He's got my back. Is Christopher. Look at that. The power of the Phoenix rises. If you need a backup, that is the one to get. That is the one to get if you need a backup. Good morning, Nate. How you doing?
I was so excited about this show. Ooh. And just playing that beginning, it just brought me back to my Saturday mornings.
It hypes me up. I get all like all this energy just starts showing up, right? No matter how lethargic you are, you put this on, and you're like ready to go. Okay, marathon, here we go.
Okay, no, tell my parents not to talk to me and leave me alone for a half an hour.
Oh man, like my dad would annoy the out of me when I used to watch this. He would, because this would come on around 9 o'clock in the morning for me, and he would start telling me to vacuum the house. Because it's a Saturday, right? Everyone gets up in the morning and we try to get Saturday stuff done with groceries, clean the house, blah, 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 laundry. And then Sunday is sort of like, your chill day, right? For us, that's how our family was kind of. And he would just start like, hey, go start vacuuming, do your chores. And I'm just like, can I just get through this show, please? It is my favorite show. And they're like, you've been here sitting in front of the TV since 6 a.m. Yeah, it's Saturday. Come on.
I've worked 5 other days of the week going to school. This is my day off to enjoy.
They're like, how come you don't get up for school, but you get up for Saturday? Oh, man. Dragon Eyes.
Because cartoons are...
It's weird, though. I never had an alarm clock. I never had an alarm clock to get up for Saturday mornings. My brain would automatically just come on. What's that?
We have an internal clock. When something we look forward to, we don't need a clock. We just know it's time to get up, grab a bowl of cereal, and start watching cartoons.
Isn't that crazy that you just don't need anything to wake you up? You just your energy wakes you up for the show, right?
Yeah.
So X-Men, if you didn't know, for anybody out there, it actually debuted on Halloween of 1992. That was the first show.
Oh, I feel so old when you say that.
Shane Shooter, didn't Mighty Morphin come on first? I remember hating that show. Now we just to get to X-Men.
Because I remember X-Men.
I don't remember exactly. Do you remember?
X-Men used to be on, I believe it was 10 a.m.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is 10 a.m. Yeah, you're right. That's why my dad was out of it. Like, what the hell? You've been sitting here for 40 hours? Because Transformers used to come out really early. I think 6:30 for me. It was the Muppets, which I hated. Sorry if anybody likes Muppets. I'm not a fan of Muppets that much. But it was Muppets first. I was like, oh, God, hurry up and get it over with. And then it was like Transformers. And then I think G.I. Joe. And then, later on it was X-Men. You're right, 10 o'clock. Yes. That makes more sense now to me now. Why my dad was really angry. It's like, come on, you've been here for 4 hours. Go vacuum the goddamn house, right?
What are you gonna do the rest of the day? You can clean then.
Oh no, my Saturday was like get up and go to work day for my dad. Like everybody in the house has to do their part. Like my mom will be busy. My mom will be busy cleaning the bathrooms. My dad would be busy cleaning both cars. I'm going to be vacuuming the house. My sister will be tidying up the bedrooms. Like that was like go. My dad was like a very, very wanted the house clean on one day of the week at least. So we had to like roll up our sleeves and work on that day. And then afternoon, I think we usually just chill. I would watch hockey or something, or go out with my friends. Like 1 o'clock, I'll be free by then, and kind of I can do some stuff depending on the weather. So, but anyways, enough of that. Came out on Halloween, huh? I never even remembered when it came out. Obviously,
well,
that's why you like it so much. It's your favorite day of the year.
Yeah, and I don't even remember, because being a kid, we don't care when it comes out. It's just like it's out. And we love it. We don't care any of the specific details. We just care that we got a show.
Yeah, and boy, did we ever get a show. What were your initial thoughts when you saw it? Because we read comic books, we know X-Men. We're like, that was the thing. We knew this show. We knew the characters, some of them, right?
Yeah.
There were some introduced for us for the first time, but we knew about it. And so when you see it come to life, like animated, what were your thoughts initially? I almost had a heart attack. I almost fainted.
Well, honestly, let's start from the very beginning. So the very first pilot was aired 1989 with the Pride of X. Remember seeing that?
Yes. Okay. I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, so that was actually the pilot of the cartoon. So after that episode, they had to revamp it, and that's what led into the X-Men card. So, if you've seen it, you know that we used to have an Australian Wolverine with the accent.
Australia. It's the weirdest. Eh? We still have an Australian Wolverine.
Oh my god, that's a really funny coincidence. But if you haven't seen it, YouTube The Pride of X-Men. The episode is on there. Go watch it.
Oh my god!
But leading,
did he say?
What do we have?
Get the shrimp and the babby, Professor. Speaking of awesomeness, we do have a bunch of people on here. I want to celebrate this because it's one of my favorite shows of all time. So I'm going to give away this prize right here. I'm going to give it an X-Men 3-pack here. If someone's interested, let us know if you're interested by putting one in the comments. Just put one in the comments. I know who's interested. And if we have more than like a couple people interested, then I'm going to give this away. We'll do a trivia. Chris, I'm going to get you to think of a trivia question, but we'll do it near the end of the show. We'll give it away. If someone is interested, a trivia you can ask, right? So yeah,
if no one puts to one in the comment,
so they want it, right? So then we'll know that they want it. So put a one in the chat if you want this, so then we know who wants this, and we're gonna give this away. Will Flo probably just put one in just for the heck of it. Why the hell not? Exactly. These are cool figures. You can even take the heads off and put other characters if you wanted to as well, right? Right? If you want to put a rogue in there.
That's a great thing.
Yeah, this is a good pack here to have. You can add rogue, you can add Jean, you can add Professor with legs.
He always had legs, he just can't use them.
Oh yes, that's right. He didn't have chopped off legs. What am I talking about?
Amputee Professor X.
Oh man. Oh, good morning, Professor.
But
that reminds me. I got my Bombay chai from. I actually got introduced this to in Cabo at the hotel I was staying at. So it's a really, really cool chai. Look at that. It has a little leaf on it, and then it's triangle. Prism. Sorry, not
You're
triangle.
Fancy.
And it's great tea, man. It's my favorite already. It's skyrocketed to #1 in just one weekend. So, yeah. Good morning to everybody.
Simple coffee.
Grab your bowl of cereal, coffee, tea, whatever it is. Orange juice. I want to know. Since we got a lot of cool people in the chats here. Let me know, guys. Who was your favorite X-Men? X-Men. Okay, so it has to be an X-Men. Your favorite X-Men, I want to know, and maybe we'll bounce off some thoughts on that as well. But Chris, who was your favorite X-Men? I know what you're gonna say, the favorite in the lore, but no, you can't say that. Your favorite X-Men.
My favorite X-Men would happen to be Jean Grey because she's like a bit of
that
an
story arc is pretty
underdog
cool, though.
Oh God, yeah. But she's quite complex. She's got a good story. I think her character build throughout the season of the X-Men animated series is really good. You know, we go from this kind of shy character, and she just builds herself up. I feel that when the animation ended, we didn't get to see any more of that build of her as Jean Grey. We've seen that arc as the Phoenix, but I think there's so much more to her. And it's so hard being such a fan of X-Men that it's hard to choose just one character, but I do really enjoy Jean Grey. I have such a collection.
Well,
Obviously.
look right behind you. You got an insane dial of the Sentinels, fighting
God.
all the X-Men. That looks crazy good.
Wait till you see. I'm working on a new Phoenix custom to go with my shelf of Jean Grey at the top.
That looks crazy.
But yeah, I'm Team Jean, as you can see. Who did you like?
Oh, at that time, I was enamored with Wolverine. I used to draw Wolverine quite a bit. So here's the thing, though. I used to draw the brown and yellow outfit, right, all the time. And I used to doodle away. And then when they introduced this one, I was sort of on the fence. I was like, I don't know about the blue underwear and the red belt. I'm like, oh, the yellow's too much. And then it kind of grew on me. As the animated show started playing, it just kind of grew on me. And now it's my favorite. Of all the outfits that he has, it's my favorite now. Right?
Because Jim Lee, right?
Yeah, Jim Lee is my favorite artist. Out of all the artists out there are some good ones out there. Like Todd McFarlane was a good artist too back in his heyday. He still is, probably now with Spawn, but I don't collect Spawn. But Jim Lee is my favorite. Jack Kirby is great. Obviously, Stan Lee is good, but he is my favorite because he could go from everything he did in Marvel was amazing, and everything he did in DC was amazing. I love the looks of his art. So yeah, Jim Lee, Wolverine all day, just like Darth says here. Wolverine all day, baby, all day. Other people saying, Will saying Nightcrawler. Hey, that's a pretty good pick too. Nightcrawler was interesting because I didn't know too much about Nightcrawler, and I was kind of introduced to it in the animation. What are your thoughts on Nightcrawler?
And this is good. This is good because this is goes to Sean's question. I feel like we could have had more of Nightcrawler. You know, we got to see him in animation, and we got to see him in the MCU, which it was such a great introduction of him when his first scene in the White House. But like, I felt like they could have gone further with him, and it was kind of a letdown. It's like, oh, he's gonna go murder the president. Well, give him something else to do. Like, you know, we've seen him in the later adaptations of the X-Men movies, but I feel like he's not being utilized as well as he could. He's such an underdog of a character. Yeah.
For me, you know, like I echo this with what Shane says here about you know, being introduced to these amazing characters for the first time. I didn't know too much about the stories about each one of these characters until I saw the show, right? The show actually gave me more knowledge about these characters and more depth. Obviously, Wolverine, you know, because every kid almost read Wolverine comics. Cyclops, I knew a little bit. Storm, I knew. So you kind of know a little bit about these main big characters. Magneto, obviously, being one of the biggest baddies at that time around for X-Men. You kind of know a little bit about them, but stories like Rogue, Gambit, Jean, I didn't know too much about. Like Gambit
Mm-hmm.
was sort of came in as a throw-in almost, right? Came in at
Well,
the
he
end.
was.
Yeah.
He when they were creating the lead core X-Men team for the animation, Gambit and Jubilee were actually thrown in there because at that time Gambit wasn't with the X-Men team for very long, so he was still considered a new character. But in the animation, um, he seemed like he was such a staple character, but that's why he seemed like such an outsider in some of the episodes, which I liked because we got that. I think it was 2 or 3 episodes where it kind of went back to his past, where he went back to Louisiana, and we had that little bit of a backstory with him. So I enjoyed that.
So the beginning of this, the starting of this show was on shaky grounds because Fox. It was supposed to be launching on Fox Children's Network, and so Fox didn't have a whole lot of money. So they asked Saban Entertainment, which does Power Rangers as well, at the time. They asked them to make this. They gave him some money, said make this, and the budget was very small. So what they did was they actually went to a smaller studio called Graz. I think I'm saying it right, Graz Entertainment, and asked them to make this. They actually had two offices, the one in North America and one in Korea as well. And they were trying to make this. And when they gave the pilot episode, there was a lot of errors. There was a lot of errors in it, and they were told to go back to the drawing board, and they almost missed the cutoff to land the show in. Because if they had missed the cutoff, we would have never gotten this animation. So they barely made it to the finish line to get this in. Can you imagine that if they missed it and we never got this?
I'd be pretty upset. I do know from that first pilot episode, um, I don't know if you realize all the characters that they introduced in that one episode. The reason why they did that is because it was their way of trying to sell the cartoon. Like, look at all these cool
Yeah.
characters. And they were also not sure that it would drive in the fans and boost the ratings. So it's such a rocky beginning, and I don't think I could imagine my life without this cartoon.
I have yet to meet anybody that collects Marvel stuff that says this show was not important to them.
Oh my god!
I've yet to meet anybody.
Yeah, no, this cartoon has addressed. You know, when we're kids, we're watching it, we're like, oh, this is great. But, you know, it also caters to the older fans because there was so much, they addressed so much independence. They addressed racism, which is crazy, and
Slavery.
And the other thing is with the infection, what was that episode called? They kind of addressed the whole AIDS epidemic where it's a mutant virus, and it was kind of a bit of a play off that. So, you know, it wasn't just a cartoon for entertainment purposes. This addressed what's going on in the world, even what's going on now. It's like I feel like it's just such an important cartoon, and it's still relevant till today.
Shane said the Foosh doesn't like it, and Marvel Legends lead designer hasn't seen it. Can you believe that? Well, tell the Foosh to come into my show, and we'll fight. We'll have a good old square off because I like it, Chris likes it, and I think a lot of people like it. Look, there's going to be people out there. I haven't met Foosh personally. I think he's a great guy. I was just joking, by the way. I think he's a great guy, and he does what he does, and much love to him and everybody out there that does these YouTube channels, because I know how much time it could take to do a show, to prep for a show, or continue doing the show on a regular basis. It's a lot of commitment. So anybody does that out there, much love to them. Keep up the good work. No matter what your numbers are, keep doing it, because if you love it, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. I love coming on here. I come on here at least 3 times a week. I'm going to wrap it up to maybe 4 times a week. Who knows? But I love doing it, and I know you enjoy doing it. D, who comes on the Monday, Justin, who comes on Wednesdays. We love doing this stuff. This is awesome way to kind of release some stress and have some fun, right? So
yes,
I enjoy it. Yeah. Hardstat said poor Maggot didn't make it to the X-Men. Oh, so that's the character that was in the intro, right?
Yes, I remember there is a character.
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up.
It's just like a quick stopped frame, but there is a character that made it into the intro that didn't make it into the animation. Well, how about we do this? As you're looking for that, I'll talk about the cameos that we see throughout the series. So obviously you guys know that we've seen so many cameos of our other beloved heroes that we love, like Thor, War Machine, Captain America. So those cameos were actually put in against the executives' wishes, because it's licensing fee. They have licensing to do the X-Men, but they can't use other characters. So they would put them in the script. Like, for example, during the Phoenix Saga, when everything's going crazy on Earth, we see Spider-Man's hand go in and web shoot out. In the script, he is titled as Web Mutant. So production executives are like, oh, it's just another character. Like, they don't know who these characters are. Same with Deadpool in that scene on Subway with Wolverine. But Doctor Strange was the Magician, and even Warbird was Mutant number 4. That episode where they go to Genosha. We got all those cameos.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. See if I can put it up here.
Wasn't it Mole Man?
There it is.
Yeah.
Number 4. He's numbered there. So 1 is Magneto, 2 is Juggernaut, 3 is what's the name? Warpath? Is it Warpath? Or Tomahawk?
Warpath. No, okay. Warpath wasn't evil, was he?
Well, I don't know. He might have been at the beginning, and then 4 is your guy. What was his name again? What did they give his name?
I don't know why I have Mole Man in my head.
Mole Man. That's what Fantastic Four. That's not Mole Man.
I know, but like, look at him.
Anybody know the name of this guy? I can't remember now. It escapes me. I know somebody gave it a name. Yeah, that's Warpath. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is Warpath. See, I was right. Obviously Mystique, Sabretooth, and I think that's Avalanche, right?
Yeah, without the helmet.
Yeah, it looks weird. Why didn't they just keep the helmet on? He looks like such a goofy character.
Well, talking about funniness, do you remember the X-Men game where you got to play as like Dazzler, Cyclops, Storm?
Well, there's so many. Well, there's 2 of them. There were the old one and then the new one, wasn't there?
Well, there's the old one where you had to play the 4 characters. It was like the Konami did the licensing.
Right, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, he was bad for a while, then it became good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they made a game that was based off the first cartoon. And it's funny because they didn't have the names properly when they made it. It's Magneto shows up. He's like, I'm the master of Magnet. Welcome. And then he's like, welcome to die. And it's okay.
That X-Men 4-player game in the arcade I lost a lot of quarters to that game.
Yeah.
I dropped there was 3 games that I spent a lot of money on. Probably my college tuition amount. Street Fighter 2, X-Men the 4-player game, and then Turtles 4 players.
I love the Turtles.
Yeah, those 3, I single-handedly probably kept that arcade alive for a good few months.
Yeah.
Like,
and if you guys like nostalgia, I know on the PlayStation Network, not sponsored, you can you can actually download the original X-Men game. I
no
have it
way,
on my
really?
yeah, I have it on my PlayStation 3
Oh, I'm gonna
console.
do that. I need to play that game with my kid.
And
Yeah.
it's like $10, I think, Canadian.
What?
Well, for us, I
Yeah.
got it at a good deal, and I played through it, and I'm like, damn, back in the day, this probably would have taken me forever, but I think I got through the game in like 30 minutes.
No way, 30 minutes.
And White Emma Frost is in there. We got Juggernaut. It's such a great game. It's such a nostalgia thing for me. So,
Do you know if
yeah,
you can play? Shane's asking, can you play it online?
I don't think it's online. It's just like if you were playing it at home on the original, like Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis.
Okay.
It's not.
This
It's not.
this would have been a good trivia question for you to ask to win the prize. Too late. Make sure you keep a trivia question ready for us at the end of the show here.
Yeah.
To give away this 3-pack here of Storm, Forge, and Jubilee. I think it's going to be awesome. Someone's collection. Like I said, I know people out there that pop the heads off of these characters, put other characters on there, made a nice blue and gold team, right? So
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you mentioned the blue and gold team. Going back to when they were creating the roster for the animation, they actually mixed those teams up. They brought Jean and Storm over. We lost Psylocke, unfortunately. I thought she would have been an amazing character to have in there, but at least we got that cameo of her for a little bit. You know, I think. Okay, so here's a good question. I love the roster we got with the X-Men animation. Are you happy with it? And what would you change?
This roster right here?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. I wouldn't change this roster. This is my roster right here. If they asked me to pick 6 guys and girls to go into battle in the X-Men world universe, I would pick these 6 right here. This is my 6. What else do you want? You got everything here. I mean, you got Jean, who could pretty much manipulate people's minds and objects. You've got a character that doesn't can always heal himself. You've got a good leader in Cyclops, who's Mr. Goody Two Shoe, won't do anything wrong. You got a character that can do all the elements of the world in terms of natural disasters, pretty much. And then you have Rogue, who's like Superman. Like, come on, like the ability. I remember like watching her fly and punch the Sentinel in the very first episode. I was like,
Night of the Sentinel. That was so good. And you know, the thing that I love about the Rogue character is, you know, they chose such amazing characters with backstories. Like, for example, Rogue, you know, she's a beautiful woman, and her curse is she can't touch anybody. So, you know,
that sucks for Gambit, doesn't it? That dude, man, I feel bad for that dude.
Well, if she keeps her glove on, it's fine, I guess.
I mean, I don't know, that dude. That sucks for that dude.
That promotes protection, you know.
Okay, we're gonna keep this PG-13.
It is.
I feel like this trade is veered off the tracks here. Back to Saturday morning goodness.
Yes, wholesomeness.
Oh, I forgot that. Did you answer this question here? Can you play it online, the game that you have?
No, you can't.
Boo.
But what you can do is what I do is I play DC Universe online and I create X-Men characters. Yeah. And you can play that with online people. Yeah. But I'm not the only one. You actually, if you go on there and you see some of the people who create X-Men characters, there's like Scarlet Witch on there. There's Deadpool, Cyclops. You see a lot of Marvel characters more than you see DC characters. It's hilarious.
Do you think they're missing the boat on making an X-Men game again?
Yes and no.
They got the Wolverine game coming out supposedly next year.
I'm sorry, but like you can't just cater to Wolverine fans. You know, I get that he's a popular character, but you also got to think of people who are fans of Storm, Cyclops, Gambit. You know, all the games that we've had in the past are kind of basic. The only good one that I really enjoyed was, I think it was Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, the one where you had to go through arcades stages and you got to play as like different characters. I thought was great, but I'd like to see a new one. Nothing like the Avengers game that came out. That was just freaking terrible.
It's funny you mentioned that because yesterday night I was watching a YouTube video and so they just did the very last update to that Avengers game, which what happened was they gave every unlockable thing away. So if you update the game now, if you have that game, it will unlock all the character skins, everything for you, even the Wakanda extra bonus package. So it would unlock everything, and then it also did an update on the gameplay. It fixed some of the bugs and upgraded some of the look of it, and it actually looks good now. And people are saying it's actually what it should have been like from day one.
That's terrible.
But that's like 3 years later.
It ruins it for the company, and it ruins it for possible future games because, you know, you came out with this game that had such high expectations and it's such a letdown. And 3 years later, you unlock everything and now people are enjoying it. It's going to be hard to capture possibly new players. You know, they come out with an X-Men game and you're like, well, I remember the Avengers game, so I'm not even going to spend my money on it.
Well, that's where Rocksteady has a tough battle on their hands because they're creating that Wolverine game. Now, I understand why they call it Wolverine because he is the most popular character in the X-Men. But what I'm thinking is what they're going to do is they're going to introduce other X-Men characters throughout the game, which I'm hoping they do, right? Where he gets their help or they come in, you know, because they're X-Men and he's just like, F off, I don't need your help. You know how Wolverine is. But I'm hoping that's the case, and I'm hoping that the game, if it's successful, then they will give us a full-on X-Men game with the hype of this one, right? That's what I'm hoping for because I really want to play an X-Men game with a couple of friends online.
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome to play that kind of game. So Shane here says, I didn't know anything about X-Men at the time. I saw the first episode, a lead character dies.
Yes.
And then Wolverine punches Cyclops in the stomach and folded him like a laundry. I was hooked. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that lead character dying. And if you haven't watched it, spoilers.
A little late. So the original character name was Changeling. But because DC claimed that name first, they had to come up with Morph, which he is the first one, and production actually had to go back and forth before they can actually kill him off in the animation.
Why did they have to go back and forth?
Because it was talking about killing off a character. But if you watch the series, we see him come back, but he is under the control of Sinister. So, you know, I think it's so funny how one character can create such a fan base from one episode because he is such a popular character. People love him. He's like the funniness of Deadpool, you know, especially, you know, when you see the Night of the Sentinels where he's sitting in that little living room and he keeps changing into characters to mock them.
Like,
so, yeah.
Mr. President. That was a great episode to throw people into it because it had everything. It had action, suspense. It had, like, I mean, come on, Jubilee's not in this picture, but the show starts with her parents not wanting her, right? Or thinking something's wrong with her and she should definitely get help.
Yeah, right? It was they thought she could be helped. It was her orphan family They actually loved her. And
did they? Okay. Well,
yeah,
if they did, they would have protected her.
They thought they were protecting her, but they were misguided by Trask. You know, he was or Guy
I was
Ritchie.
hoping the Sentinels would step on them, squish them like bugs.
Oh, that'd be amazing, right?
This one's for you, Morph. Oh my god, that line was insane. Oh, that line was so
intense.
Good. So good.
But kind of going back to the animation, cool fact. One of the episodes, or two of the episodes, because it was a twofer, One Man's Worth. Do you remember that episode where Bishop comes back? So Bishop is sent back in time to save.
Okay,
Professor X.
Yeah.
So that episode was so good. Marvel Comics incorporated that into the actual comic telling, where Professor X's crazy son went back in time to kill Magneto, and because they just thought, who's this random guy trying to kill him, Professor X jumps in front of Magneto and he gets killed, and that's what led into the AOA story arc.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's from the cartoon. So, you know, comics to be inspired by like a spinoff of the comics is pretty awesome.
I can't wait for. I mean, I'm a little worried right now because of the state of what the Marvel's movies have been right now lately. Budget cuts, cheap writing, adding woke agendas into it, changing a lot of the core structure of these characters. I'm a little concerned about what the X-Men is going to be like. I mean, it is coming. The ball is rolling this way. It is heading our way, and I'm worried because there's been talk about changing the name X-Men because they feel it's masculine and they want to demasculate it. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on changing the name X-Men?
Honestly, it's hard because, you know, considered as planet Earth, we are mankind. Like, how would you change something like that?
All kind.
Yeah, it's like X kind. You know, don't take something because you feel that it's politically correct. It's not at the moment. It's a comic.
It's a brand.
Yeah.
It's like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, right? Like it's a brand.
And for you to change it, it's just like, you know, I'm just hoping that now that it's in Marvel Studios' hands, that whatever we get is going to be a hell of a lot better than what we've been getting from Fox.
I don't know, man. I'm just looking at the way things are. Like, I'm a little concerned. Actually, I'm a lot concerned. I'm worried because it seems like whatever Fox did, they did it obviously without caring for the lore of it, but they didn't go and change the names. They didn't go question the title of the movie. They just made bad movies, right?
Yeah.
With Marvel and Disney owning it now, flat out owning it because it's their baby under the licensing. I feel like they have this, you know, and then they obviously have tiers of people above. Like Kevin Feige reports to somebody who reports to somebody, right? Yeah. Bob Iger, whoever it is. And I just feel like we're going to have some changes here, and then there are going to be some pissed off people because it's the way it is, man. Like, I know they're going to do something to meddle with this.
They need to stop doing that. They need to stop changing characters because they feel like they need to gender bend or anything. I'm sorry, but we have a comic that is so well represented now.
Yeah.
Into different cultures. Like we got Kamala Khan, which is Miss Marvel. We have what's her name from Captain Marvel?
Monica Rambeau.
Yes, we have Monica Rambeau. And then we have Captain Marvel herself, who is Caucasian. There's no need to switch characters because it's such a diverse group. And, you know, it's a mix of human, alien, mutants, humans. Stop trying to perfect something that doesn't need perfected.
It seems like more that these days they're worried about diversity, inclusiveness than to actual write a good movie or a TV show.
They gotta stop doing that because that ruins it.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. You don't need it in every goddamn show or movie.
Yeah,
you could spread it out, but the bottom line is, if the show or the movie is not written well, none of it matters.
Yeah,
none of it matters. It's still gonna be a giant pile of turd, and I'm hoping that they don't go and lose themselves into trying to do all that, and instead of making a great X-Men movie, or even changing the title because you feel it's offensive to some people. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, if it's offensive, don't watch it. Like, I don't know what's so offensive about this name, because it has men at the end of it. Like, these are characters from a group. You don't have to watch it. It's not offensive though. Like,
it's like what frickin' Jennifer Lawrence says in the Dark Phoenix movie. You might as well change it to X-Woman. I'm like, oh my god. I'm so glad she died. I'm so glad she died.
Yeah, she's not one. And when I first started seeing her in her movies and stuff, this actress has a career. I'm like, she's gonna be a superstar. I was telling my wife that in the beginning when she first started getting into Hollywood. But then now I'm just like, I don't want nothing to do with her. I don't want to see any of her movies. She's just horrible. Yeah. I saw some interviews of her. She has no clue what she's talking about half the time. No clue.
She's funny and she's got a personality, but like, I just don't think she's
not all there, man. She's not all there.
You were saying this earlier. She's just not invested, and when you have an actor who's not invested in a character, it's gonna show.
Yeah, we were talking about Brie Larson.
Yeah,
from day one, she was never invested in this character. She's been asked many times on the red carpet, what's her thoughts and this and that, and there's videos all over the internet. She's like, oh, if they need me, I'll show up. It's like, that's not how you should approach it. This is a huge fan base that watches this stuff. You shouldn't take one of those characters and say, if I want it, I'll do it. If they want me, I'll do it. Whatever. I don't really care. No, you embrace it like everybody else has. Evans, Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr. They all embraced their characters. How many times did they go to children's hospitals with their outfits on?
Oh, seriously. Like, you want to make me cry? Show me those videos and posts. It's like,
yeah.
You know, growing up, these are superheroes. And when even sick kids, they see this and it gives them hope. And then when the characters go and visit them and they're like, oh my God, because as a kid, they still believe in heroes. And, yeah.
I mean, if she's so about women empowerment and stuff like that, I haven't seen her go and do some improvements in empowerments.
Yeah, she can speak the speak, but she can't walk the walk. She can't.
Did she go to a school to help some girls have, did she go to so low income schooling and give some girls some scholarships? Nope, she hasn't done any of that stuff. So where's your empowerment? Where's all that big talk? But no, she did a YouTube video with yoga poses. Right?
That's why Rogue's gonna come in and take her powers, and she's gonna take over.
Let's make that happen. I need a Southern Belle, like, more than anything. Get in there, take her powers, get her out of here. See you later.
Peace out.
Don't let the door hit you. You know what? On the way out.
No, please let it hit you on the way out.
Shane goes, a person of color. I'd much rather a well-written origin character. Yeah, exactly. We got Miles. Yeah. We got Kamala Khan. We have Shang-Chi, which they butchered. I feel sorry for that character from the comics because it's nothing like that. They destroyed that character. I hope they get on the right track and fix that character, Shang-Chi. He's supposed to be Bruce Lee in the MCU.
He seemed a little toned down.
He got his ass kicked by his sister who didn't even get trained. Her sister watched her dad training him, but it was able to kick his ass.
Yeah.
Like, that is ridiculous. This guy's supposed to be the best martial artist in MCU. He's supposed to fight Iron Fist, kick his ass. But he got his ass whooped by his sister.
The unfortunate thing about that movie is, yeah, it was entertaining and not bad because I don't know the character, but it didn't feel like a Marvel movie. It's just like, okay, let's do it.
I just feel that we caught lightning in a bottle for a decade, and we were very fortunate to watch amazing movies. You look at the movies in the first 10 years to look at it now, it's night and day, literally night and day. There's love, there's energy, there's comic book coming to life kind of writing to now, where we have ridiculous rap stars come on the shows, like we had what's her name, Stallion, come on She-Hulk and do twerking moves, and I'm just like, what the heck is this? Like,
okay, I like that show, but
oh my god, I can't talk to you anymore.
No, it was good comedic.
That wasn't good. Stop.
Because they were representing a different form of She-Hulk, because there's two, and that's based off the funnier side.
Well, like, why don't you represent the one?
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
It has its moments of funniness, but then that Megan Thee Stallion, when she was on there twerking, I'm like, that's going a bit too far. That's just like, why was that needed? And
well, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. No, you go.
What bothered me about that show, and we're kind of veering off the rails here, but we'll come back to the track. What bothered me about that show was it was so like trying to beat down men in the process of this show. This is about her. Make the show great. Yeah, there are two sides of her. I know there's various comics, and the latest comics were about comedy more than anything else. But what made this character important and big was not recent comics. What made this character important was the original storytelling of this character. Kids like me, boys, bought that comic book. Not girls, boys bought that comic book and brought it up to the level of popularity she's at now. Why would you not go and hit that mark, that group of people first?
Because and I'm sorry, I got to say this, but you hit it on the mark. You explained it right there. Boys, they need to create a show that's going to entice women to also watch. And it just can't be the male watcher going into the time that we are now. It has to be inclusivity. It can't just be like, this is what drawn the boys, but how are we going to draw women and how are we going to draw a new fan base?
But a lot of women don't care for it. Majority of the people that watch these shows are male. It's just the way it is.
But that's what they have to do, because if they create a TV show that doesn't have the possibility of doing one thing, then it's a fail.
Well, and if you want to bring in women, that's great. Bring in women, but not at the expense of punching down on the people that already supported it from the beginning, because there were lines in there where you could clearly tell that she's just like shitting on men. Men are horrible. They're pathetic and weak, even to the point where she's outdoing the Hulk in their first day of training. What are you talking about? The Hulk is the Hulk. How do you outdo him and make him look like a retard, like stupid, in the first day of your training? Sorry for my language, but I'm just a little upset about it. That's all, because I love both characters. When I saw She-Hulk in the comics, I was like, this is sick. He's got a cousin that has the same powers. This is awesome. Right? Yeah. Because family was big as a kid. You have cousins and you have friends, and we see this come into comic books where you have family like the Fantastic Four, which is my favorite family in comics. And then you have a cousin. I was like, this is awesome. I read She-Hulk. I love She-Hulk. But then when I saw the show, I'm like, this is nothing like She-Hulk that I grew up with. Why don't you give me that first? And then you can throw in some riskier stuff like, the funny stuff they wanted to add in there.
Yeah.
They could have done that. Like, start from the basics, foundations, and then build towards maybe doing some riskier things, some outside the box things later on when we already got an established show, right?
Yeah. And, it goes like it says it for all the Marvel movies that we've seen. How we've gotten all the X-Men movies is like the cartoon animation. It was never in order. It was back and forth. So you start losing fans and possible new fans. It's always a risk when going into comics. Disney has been very, very lucky, but they've also been very smart in how to approach it. And even though they've been doing well with it, with the Avengers, it can still be risky business. Like, where do we start with this? Do we have time to create a whole origin season that's going to be good enough to hold audiences' attentions? Because attention spans nowadays, especially with Gen Z out there and millennials,
TikTok?
they have low attention spans. Why do you think those episodes were like less than an hour long? You know, we're in a time where they have to gauge, okay, can this be a hour? Can this be 20 minutes? You know, I think Disney's been good with that, because the episodes we've gotten, WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, the times change so much in each episode because they say, okay, we need an extra 20 minutes or we could do it this long. So we'll probably see that more in the future with everything. It's like we can take as much time as we need to explain, but it's just, I digress. Getting back to, you know, the risking of origin stories. I love an origin story, but how are they gonna keep it?
I know what's gonna happen is they're already trying to do this. They're gonna have the worlds collide. They're gonna have a civil war, and from there the X-Men will spawn out of it because the worlds universes have collided now, and now we're one universe, and that's why these characters exist. That's what's gonna happen. That's how they're gonna introduce X-Men, Fantastic Four, all these characters, because you can't just bring them to the fold and not have them, you know, already at an age. Because how do you explain why are they this old and how come they never showed up in any of the events prior, right?
Yeah.
And you can't have X-Men as a young kids team. It's gonna look weird having Wolverine be like 18 years old, and then meanwhile you have you know, other characters from the Avengers who are 35 years old, right, or 40 years old. It looks just weird.
Exactly. So, you know, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be universes colliding. That's what it's going to happen.
We can go on for hours talking about this, but we only have an hour.
Yeah. While you're looking up maybe a trivia question here, because
already got it.
You got it? Okay, so so I'm going to give this away to the first person that answers Chris's trivia question, and it has to be correct. So spelling does matter, and Chris is going to make the judge on who was first on his screen. So whoever shows up in his chat box first is going to be the winner. And then what you got to do is you got to go at the bottom of the screen. You see the ticker going there at ANR Universe. You got to contact us on either Twitter or Instagram and let us know your full name and address, and then, you know, what your handle was here, and then we will send that off to you. It might take about 2 weeks or so because I am quite busy this next couple of weeks, but I will send it off to whoever wins it. It is North American audiences only. So if you're in Europe, I'm sorry, it's not applicable to you. Hey, listen. No, I didn't say that. You said that.
I said that. So Shane,
I do not agree. I do not agree with both you and Shane at all.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but yes, Shane said I liked it too, but thought the
Shane
ending
is no longer
sucked.
eligible for the contest. No, just kidding.
No, he is. I agree. The last episode, it was just like, no.
Last episode, the first episode's horrible. But anyways,
okay, get over it. Let's
digress. If you guys like turd, I mean, hey, whatever, right? It's your thing.
I've seen some of your collection.
Oh, whoa! That's hitting it too close to home here.
That's the problem.
Yeah, you, not boy. That's my boy right here, Darth. 2 thumbs down, baby. That's right.
Darth, you are excluded from the contest.
No,
Thank
he
you
is
for
a
coming.
VIP member here. He is welcome anytime. Darth is my boy.
All right, shall I ask it?
Okay, so just a couple of house cleaning things here. I just want to tell everybody that this is the beginning of prizes. We are going to give year-long awesome prizes on all of our channels. We ask you to spread the word, let other people know, and come join us on our lives. It makes us feel really, really happy when we see people come on, ask questions, and join us for the conversation. It really makes our day. So we want to get the numbers up and have more people come join us and have a party. So this is Saturday. We're going to give it away to the X-Men thing. We have the Batmobile from Tim Burns McFarlane, the 112 scale Batmobile. We're going to give that away. We're giving it away. Yes.
You crazy.
Hint. It might be this coming Wednesday. Just fine. I might get crucified from the team for saying that, but I'm just saying popcorn chicken. That's all.
Did you say Wednesday or Thursday?
I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway,
is it the day before Thursday? Yeah.
the day after Tuesday.
Oh, okay. That clarifies things. Yeah.
But we're gonna give away the Batmobile there, and all you have to do is show up, answer a trivia question, and we send it. It's not hard. It's not hard. Easy peasy. We're gonna send that away. We also have a Mezco figure of Bishop.
Ooh.
And it's an expensive figure. It's a very nice figure. Me and Dee had that figure in our collection, and we absolutely love it. I was accidentally sent a second one. Well, not accidentally. I ordered from 2 different places. Forgot.
You just forgot. There was no
forgot,
accident.
And I'm no longer doing doubles in my collection anymore, so I'm going to give that away. One double that I'm hoping, I'm praying that I have in my boxes is my Psylocke, because my dog chewed the hell out of it a couple of days ago. And it's it's $100 figure.
If you need, I have the original one, like the darker outfit.
Yeah, I need
an
that
extra one.
I'll swap with you. We'll talk about trade. Trade. It'll be fun if we do trade. So yeah, we'll do that, because it fell out of my shelf. She came down here and she grabbed it, and I'm like, what is she gnawing at? And then I look at it, the head is all mutilated, the legs are all mutilated. I was like, oh my god, my Psylocke.
She's Professor Psylocke now.
That's bad.
Where'd the feet go? Like,
you're so bad, man. You're so bad. Darth says pass on Mezco. Darth, I'm telling you, bro. I know how you feel about Mezco, but this is a good figure. It doesn't have that clothy movement. It's really nice, man. It's a really good figure. I can't wait to take some pictures with this on my city diorama. By the way, watch out for that video. It's coming. I know I've been saying this for a while, but me and High School Creations, we actually had a conversation a couple of days ago. We're going to be adding more stuff to this diorama. Plus, we have a bigger diorama coming down the road. It's a year-long project.
Where are you going to put this?
Don't you worry. We'll find a way. I mean, walls are walls, right? They do come down.
God, I feel like I'm your wife sometimes. I'm like, where are you going to put this?
So we are going to have an interview with High School Creations about the how we began this amazing project that you see behind me. I haven't introduced this Dyro because on purpose. I wanted to do a proper video with him about his journey of building this thing. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears by Mike from High School Creations. So we're going to do that video very shortly. I think next weekend we're going to get in touch with them and do it and put that up on our channel so you guys can see. And it's going to be awesome. I can't wait because, man, I tell you, he knocked it out of the park. This thing looks insanely good. Everybody that walks into this room and looks at this dial go, what in the world is this? They lose their shit over this thing. Everybody, not one person, even my wife. She came in now. She's like, what in the world is that? And
Get rid of it.
Yeah. Where's the hammer?
Yeah.
All right. So come join us on Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time for our ANR Weekly. We are going to give a prize away, and it's going to be that Mezco Bishop. I don't know when, but we are going to give that away. So come join us there. Wednesday nights, popcorn chicken, new time at 9:30. Come join us there, Pacific time. We're going to give away possibly the Batmobile. Wow. And then obviously every 2 weeks, we're here on the Mighty Mornings. In 2 weeks, we'll be here again doing another show. We might give away a prize. We may not. We don't know. But this whole year, we got a lot of prizes to give away. Chris, I got a ton of stuff. You know it. My house is flowing with figures here. I got tons of unopened boxes of figures from, last year to this year, and most of them they got to go. They got to go.
All right,
because I don't collect doubles anymore.
Let's get on with the contest because
let's do it.
They are.
All right, here we go.
So, all right, so
wait till Chris finishes reading it. Do not answer until he finishes reading it. And the first person that shows up on his screen, he's going to pick as the winner. Go ahead, Chris.
And it has to be the actual full name.
Yeah.
So with one of the characters in the 3-pack, when was Storm's first appearance? When?
Animation or comics?
In the comics.
Storm's first appearance in the comics, guys. Go.
Come on. You should know this. It's easy. It's popular.
Who's showing up? Who's showing up? Come on. Who's going to do it? They're all Googling right now. Who's got the fastest internet?
Full
Storm's
name.
first appearance.
Full title. Come on,
they're all Googling right now.
Are you guys eating cereal or Googling? Can't you do both?
Oh, we got some people coming.
Hold on. Who do we got? Is this correct? Yes.
So what was the full thing? What was the name of it?
It was Giant Size X-Men #1.
There you go. All right. So Shane Shooter wins it. Darth's like, I don't know, crying emojis. Oh, man. That's awesome. So Giant Size Shooter got it. I'm sorry, Giant Size Shooter.
Oh my God!
That's what they called me in high school.
13.
That's what they called me in high school. All the ladies. Giant Size X-Men #1 is the correct full name, which Chris was very adamant about. It had to be exact. Shane, you need to contact us at ANR Universe. Do it maybe on Instagram. Get a hold of one of us on there, and then we will send that out to you. Make sure you put your handle in there too. So yeah, congratulations to you. You win this awesome 3-pack here. And if you didn't win, don't fret. We're going to be giving away tons of stuff. I'm telling you, this is just the beginning.
We got half of Elvin's clutch and we can give away. And so he'll have
more. Look at Darth.
Oh my God.
So don't fret if you didn't win. We got tons of stuff coming. I've got from different brands, companies, all kinds of stuff that we're going to give away. So it's going to be awesome. Big numbers. When we hit those big numbers, I'm going to be giving it some big prizes. I have a Galactus that I want to give away.
What?
I want to give away Galactus. So I've got a lot of Galactus in my storage, and I want to give one of them away because I need space. So I'm going to give one of those away, but we got to hit.
It's funny. Elvin will give one of those away, but he won't sell me one of his extra 5 Novas.
I don't have Nova.
Or what's the character's name from that box set with the flamey hair? Anyways, he has 20 of them, and he won't even sell me one.
No, but I've only opened one. I can't. If I open it, then it ruins it. Right? It's sealed. But yeah, if we hit big numbers, Galactus, I remember mentioning it in an earlier video way back that if we hit a certain amount of subscribers, I'd give it Galactus. You could tweet or you could do Instagram. I'm on Instagram all the time, so you can do that if you want. And then I'll send that out to you if you have Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, then yeah, I guess you could do Twitter. You can just private message me on Twitter. I don't know how that works. I don't even use Twitter that much. But yeah, get a hold of us. Don't worry. Don't freak out if you can't hold those. You're not going to go away. We're not going to give it to anybody else. Don't worry. We'll get it to you. But yeah, I mean, so this week, X-Men, man, what a show. What a awesome experience I had in my life. This changed my whole view on Marvel comics and everything. And I think this thing really gave it a shot in the arm to Marvel, because how many kids ran off and bought comic books? How many kids ran off and bought figures? Like, it was amazing, right? And then we'll get into down the road other shows piggybacking off this to make it more.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, finish.
And on top of that, we'll be able to compare what this X-Men is to the new X-Men 97 coming out, which I'm so.
Well, guess what we're gonna do? Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do episodic. We're gonna do episodic breakdowns of that thing. We're gonna me, you, D are gonna grab a bowl of cereal and we're gonna do episodic breakdowns of this thing.
I'm down.
So if it comes out on Saturdays, well, then we might just do it on Saturdays.
That's perfect.
Because it is a mighty morning, right? So we hope you guys had a mighty morning. We love each and every one of you guys for taking the time in the morning or afternoon, depending where you are, and joining us. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for doing that. Thank you so much. We will be back in 2 weeks to talk about another awesome show. And yeah, I mean, I had a blast. I know you had a blast. X-Men, one of the goats of Mighty Mornings. We had to do it. We will bring you back to another one in 2 weeks. Chrissy, anything you want to add before we sign off here?
Dark Phoenix.
She rises again. She rises. All right, folks. Have yourself a good morning. Make sure to have your coffee or your cereal and join us in 2 weeks again. Say bye, Chris.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.